Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. It is about 8:30 on a Wednesday morning. Hope everyone's doing good. Pretty overcasty, rainy day potentially, but hope everyone's doing good. I've been kind of been changing things up here for a little bit for the last couple weeks. I haven't been putting out as many videos as I normally do, and it's really due to just scheduling and time and stuff. And I am back into a little bit more of a normal schedule, so I will be getting back to doing more videos, but it might be tough. It gets tough to do it every day. I really want to do them and continue the kind of the format or the way that I do them, but it's way more kind of sporadic now. But of course, they will be happening, and it will still be coming your way. And I'm going to be probably, announcing some new changes with the channel, and I'm going to probably be moving the channel into a new direction, I think, too. But at the end of the day, it's all about movies. So I went to Bull Moose about, I think it was about 2 weeks. So actually, it was last week. I went up to Bull Moose, and I got a stack of some new movies. Most of the movies I had not gotten before. I should say, most of these movies I hadn't seen before. So, um, and I've been, really lucking out with taking those chances and trying some new things. It's been really cool. It's been a lot of fun because I've lucked out with really getting a lot of cool movies. And today's show is going to be on this really interesting movie. It's called The Odd Angry Shot. It's an Australian action movie or war movie. Kind of in the realm of, I definitely kind of consider this movie to be kind of in the realm of the kind of the exploitation genre. It came out in 1979. It's basically a story about an Australian volunteer soldier who isn't quite prepared for the sights and all the situations that he finds himself in Vietnam. I guess this movie is kind of based on a true story about on Australia's role in the Vietnam War and how they did send lots of troops to Vietnam, which I was not aware of. And apparently, I guess they did. And it's about this kind of battalion that is in Vietnam during the time. It's pretty violent. It's a pretty gory movie, but the characters in this movie are really great. It's a classic kind of '70s movie. Really great Blu-ray package that I got. It's from Synapse. Synapse is one of the earliest. They might have been, or they might be the kind of the first kind of boutique label, if you want to call it. I hate calling it that because it just sounds really pretentious, but it gets labeled. A lot of these movies, or these labels that put out a lot of these movies, Severin, Code Red, which I don't think exists anymore, Mondo Macabre, which is the greatest one. So many Blue Underground. There's so many labels, but they kind of get labeled as like boutique labels, and basically all of these labels specialize in putting out these like super low budget exploitation movies. Especially, my favorite label is Mondo Macabre. The Synapse was one of the first. I believe out of the labels that have kind of been putting out all of these kind of really obscure, low budget exploitation movies. I believe it's Synapse was one of the first. I think they've been around for like 15 or 20 years. I believe I saw an interview with them, one or two of the kind of the founders of Synapse, and they were talking about how they were on this cusp from, like, when DVDs were a craze, and then they were kind of switching over to Blu-rays, and you're going back 12 years ago now, and it was interesting, and how and then they started getting into, they got into this idea of, re-releasing a lot of these underground movies. But this is great. I've been on a kick with. I got a couple other movies fairly recently too that were kind of like war action movies, and so I've been digging this kind of genre. And Of course, it's from my favorite decade, the '70s. But this movie's great. It's really, I definitely kind of consider it to be in that kind of exploitation genre. It's not like I don't know. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit more of a character study. Like it's actually really, really well done. The characters are really great. The first half of this movie is pretty brutal, and and it's it's got some comedy to it. It's got a little bit of a melodrama kind of situation to it. It's a good character study. There's some good comedy, which is really surprising. And it's a pretty violent movie. And apparently this is a period of history which I didn't know that Australia had any kind of, played any kind of role in the Vietnam War. So it's kind of interesting from that perspective. This this Blu-ray transfer is really awesome. There's a I believe there's a pretty interesting documentary on this movie. It's very cool. It was a nice find. I'd never seen it before. The transfer is awesome. I mean, that's the thing that for me is the biggest allure of a lot of these movies, and in general of buying them. Buying all these reissues of these kind of long forgotten classics or movies that have ever been seen. The label, my favorite label, like I said, Mondo Macabro, like they definitely take the deepest dive. They find the most obscure shit you can imagine and bring them to these movies to the light of day, which is just wild. But there's so many great labels to choose from, and like I said in the beginning of the show, Synapse was probably the originators. They kind of started this whole thing, so very, very cool, very great. I'm really happy with this discovery. I've been really digging kind of the war or action genre in the world of kind of exploitation. One of the last ones I bought, which I did a show on really recently, was the American Ninja, which is just amazing. Put out by Canon, and mid '70s or '70s in general, and the '80s, you just there's just gem after gem that came out, and still seeing that all of these movies are getting this kind of treatment, and being able being able to discover movies like this is just it's amazing. So it's a good if you're a movie collector and you're into some like pretty or if you're into if you have pretty eclectic tastes and you're into searching and finding some pretty obscure shit, right now is this day and age is pretty amazing. So yeah, definitely check this out. 79, The Odd Angry Shot. It's a really cool Australian Vietnam War movie. So thanks again, and we will see you next time. Peace.